What Mr. Bowles said would be there was there, and you've seen pictures of it. There's a green ammo can, says 1883 live ammunition. They take it, they send it to the FBI for testing. Not only does it not look like the live rounds from Rust, but it has a different chemical composition. So at that point in time, Hancock has kind of realized, I think, that she's being led down this path by Mr. Bowles that's coming from Thel Reed. Thel Reed is trying to slough everything off on Seth Kinney. So I want to show you.
The good thing is,
when Seth Kinney is with Detective Hancock, what Mr. Nickus was referring to,
yeah, I'm really sorry.
He reaches out to Teskey because he's there with Hancock, and he says, "Hey, send me a photo of the live rounds that you have left over, because I'm giving her the live rounds from my green can." I think you just gave her some of them. They hadn't executed the search warrant at that point in time. Teskey says, "Okay," and he sends to Seth Kinney. You can see November 1st. He sends him that photograph of the live rounds that are in his possession. When you look at that photograph, and I'll blow it up for you, you can tell these are not similar to the live rounds that were found on the set of Rust. Detective Hancock gets this information from Mr. Kinney. Ultimately, though, still goes ahead and executes her search warrant, as she should. I come into this case, I look at the ammunition that was taken from PDQ. I understand from the witnesses that the ammunition was sourced originally from Thel Reed. It was sourced from Hannah's dad. It's not a match. Not only is it not a match when you look at it, it's not a match when you send it to the FBI and you ask them to conduct chemical testing. So this is a wild goose chase. This has no evidentiary value whatsoever. This is simply a man trying to protect his daughter, and he's doing it by providing information that doesn't even match. He's trying to provide evidence that doesn't even match the evidence that was found at the scene. So then let's cut to November of 2023. We do a pretrial interview of Mr. Teskey. Let me back up. Detective Hancock reached out when she got this photograph. She reached out to Mr. Teskey, and she'll testify to this. If you want her to testify under oath, I'm happy to have her do it. She reached out to Mr. Teskey and she said, "Hey, you know, because you appear to be cooperative, can you just package that stuff up and mail it to me? Because he's in Arizona. He's not here in New Mexico." And he never does. He never sends it to her. She doesn't pursue it because on its face, it's not the same ammunition. Let's cut to November 2023. We're doing the pretrial interview of Troy Teskey, where he talks about the ammunition, and he talks about what he knows, what information he has about the relevance of this ammunition. What's also very important, and I can have under oath testimony to this fact also, this pretrial interview that was done over Zoom was, well, Mr. Bowles was there, so this was never kept from Gutierrez's lawyers. It was her lawyers that were bringing it to us. So there was no issue there. The jury was completely misled yesterday. So this pretrial interview that takes place in November of 2023 is uploaded to our discovery server. And when it's uploaded to the server, Mr. Baldwin hasn't been indicted yet. When he is ultimately indicted, everything that is on that server is taken and it's put on a hard drive, and it's sent, I believe, to Ms. Clark, who isn't here right now. And certainly Mr. James is happy to testify that it was uploaded to the server, that he downloaded it onto that hard drive, and he provided it to Mr. Baldwin's counsel. So the jury was misled again yesterday when Mr. Spiro indicated we had no idea about any of this. They've had it the entire time.
I don't want to hear about how the jury was misled. I just want to.
So when I have the pretrial interview with Troy Teskey, if the court wants to know the reason that we didn't actually get the ammunition from him is because I said, since he's out of state, and we'd have to get another law enforcement agency basically to go pick it up and take it and send it to us, I said, have him send me a picture of it so that I can determine whether it has any evidentiary value and I can speak to my case agent about it. The photograph that was sent to me is the photograph in the middle. That is not the same ammunition. You can tell from looking at it. It has a different projectile shape. That's not the same projectile shape. That's not the same casing. This isn't a Starline brass casing. And it also has brass primers and not silver primers. So I decided, I agreed with Detective Hancock, this has no evidentiary value. We're not going to continue to go down this rabbit hole. I want the court to know that the photographs that I spoke to Detective Hancock about yesterday, where it does appear that Ms. Gutierrez has the live ammunition in her own hand that was taken a little more than a month after Ms. Hutchins died, those are on the right. So you can see the bottom photo, you can see the Starline brass casing, you can see the nickel primer, and then when you look up here, you can see the shape of the projectile. It's a spot-on match for the live rounds. There is absolutely nothing about the ammunition that Troy Teskey had that has any evidentiary value in the Gutierrez case. It has no evidentiary value in the Baldwin case. This feels like asking us to go to every sporting goods store, collect all of their .45 caliber ammunition, and send it off for testing. We're not required to do that. It simply doesn't have any evidentiary value, and the defense was aware of it. If the court, let me check my notes real quick. And another thing that's really important about the transcript of Mr. Teskey's pretrial interview is he does not say this is the same ammunition that killed Helena Hutchins. He says, that's what Seth Kenney told me. Well, we've interviewed Seth Kenney countless times, and he's testified before Your Honor, and that is not what he says. He does not support that. So Mr. Teskey indicated during his pretrial interview that he had no personal knowledge of whether or not this ammunition had anything to do with what was happening on the set of Rust. That all came from Seth. We investigated Seth. We talked to Seth. The only way that this has, on the best of days, for this to be relevant information for even Ms. Gutierrez, it's not at all relevant to Mr. Baldwin, but even for Ms. Gutierrez, it has to actually have some exculpatory value. And you can tell from the pictures on the right, it doesn't. It doesn't have any exculpatory value. And I want the court to keep in mind, Hannah Gutierrez, when she was working on the set of The Old Way in August, before she came to New Mexico to work on the set of Rust, she sent Seth Kenney a text message. And in that text message, she said, is it okay with you if I shoot live rounds out of the set guns? And Seth Kenney responded and said, no, don't do that. In fact, what he says is, it always ends in tears. It did this time. Hannah Gutierrez admits to law enforcement that she loaded the gun. She points out the box of dummy rounds that she was sourcing ammunition from. During her November interview, She holds up a picture of the exact same box and says, I got this from my dad. My dad wanted me to show you the boxes of dummy rounds that we use. And it was a spot-on match. She actually indicated that she got the box of dummy rounds from her own father. None of this is exculpatory at all. This is the exact same batch of ammunition that has already been sent to the FBI and tested, because it all came from the same place. There's no reason for us to do it again. Thank you.
Your Honor, I don't know at this moment if the court is intending to take evidence or not, so...
She didn't call anybody.
Okay.
I can, if the court...
It is your presentation. I'm not going to tell you what to do on your presentation.
I'll do it then. We'll take evidence. If my offer of proof isn't enough, I'm happy to go witnesses up.
I just wanted to say one thing to the court, which is just simply that Ms. Morrissey, in her presentation, didn't say one word. Not one word.
Isn't this properly for Mr.
Well, I don't even say that. Well, he was making a legal argument. If we're going to do an evidentiary hearing, where there won't going to be multiple lawyers involved. But so I would just simply point out that there wasn't one word about what was actually turned in. I don't know if the court realizes that. That was all about stuff that happened that...
All right. Thank you. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Nikas.
I'll be very brief, Your Honor. If this evidence wasn't as important as we say it is, they would have turned it over. The fact that they concealed it, the fact that they put it under a separate document number, didn't disclose the supplemental report, didn't disclose the bullets, didn't bring them to the April 6th evidentiary viewing, if it was that irrelevant, it had no evidentiary value, it would have been there, Your Honor, number one. Number two, Ms. Morrissey does not get to determine what has evidentiary value and what doesn't. 5501 says it's required to be disclosed, period, full stop. And in fact, in the Allison case, it was not exculpatory. It was inculpatory. It was the defendant's own arrest record and his own lies to the state. And yet the fact that it was required to be disclosed under 5501 and the fact that it was not meant, period, full stop. We're not going to have a mini trial about this in the middle of the trial. That's exactly what the Supreme Court reversed the lower court for doing, what Ms. Morrissey is asking you to do. It didn't matter. It was inculpatory, but the trial would have been conducted differently. And because it would have been conducted differently, and that's exactly the truth here, this goes to credibility, it goes to the government's bias, improper motivation, and incompetence. I'm taking those exact words from the motion in limine ruling that Your Honor made. That goes into evidence. It's relevant to Popple's credibility, to Hancock's credibility. It relates to every single thing we've planned in this entire case, Your Honor. And right in the middle of it, Ms. Morrissey doesn't tell you what was actually turned in. She shows you a picture from 2021, a subset of the rounds that were turned in by Teskey, a subset. He said he shot a bunch of rounds in those 2 years. The picture was only of 4. This is critical evidence, Your Honor, and whether Seth Kenney is right or wrong, or how we debate whether he was involved or not involved, that's completely irrelevant, because what we know is we don't have those bullets, and they were required to be disclosed so we could put on the case that's fair. And that's exactly what Brady says, Your Honor. Brady says that the administration of justice requires fairness. That was the entire premise of the decision, fairness, and that's all we've wanted from the beginning, Your Honor. And you've given them chance after chance after chance, and there are no more chances, Your Honor. Brady says it, Giglio says it, 5501 requires it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Before I, and we can take testimony later if you all want, but I'm going to require that the state, in fact, I'm going to order that the state by 11:30 this morning produce the supplemental report, the file itself, and anything in it, and also the rounds.
May I respond real
I'm
quick?
not finished.
Okay.
And the rounds that Ms. Popple took from Mr. Teskey.
I want the court to understand that last night the defense reached out to Ms. Popple and said, we want you to bring the rounds to court tomorrow. And she got their message, and then they reached out to her again and said, No, never mind. We don't want you to bring the rounds to
Thank you,
court
Ms.
tomorrow.
Morrissey.
I
Thank
got
you,
them.
Ms. Morrissey.
I
I don't, okay, where are they?
They're here. I'll go get her.
All right. Well, actually, I want testimony from Ms. Popple on how she retrieved those. So I
Wow.
don't need the box, tell her. I need Popple.
Wow. All right, that got interesting.
I have tendered the supplemental report to the defense.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear affirm under penalty of law that the testimony you'll give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a seat. Talking to the microphone. I would like to read the report. May I see the report?
Yes.
Where is this box of evidence?
In the other room.
I'd like to see it. Do you need to do it, Martine? I need the box of evidence. you all inspected this?
No, we have not yet.
Well, how do we want to do it? I want to look at it.
I do too.
Well, do you want me to ask the questions first? I have some questions of this witness.
You can ask first if I saw anything.
Can I open this, Martine? Anywhere? Like, not in the middle, I mean, up at the top? Oh. Anywhere's fine? Maybe you need gloves, too. Do you have gloves? Can you get some additional? So anywhere, I can just cut into it. Okay.
So I think this is the bullets, maybe.
There should be there's a separate
All right.
area.
I'm going to have you. This is unusual,
Yeah.
but if you all don't mind, and if there's any objection, I'm going to have her step down, and when I ask her a question about which is which, she will put it out. Is that all right with everybody?
However you want to do it. Judge.
Okay,
Sure.
so I just need you to have some gloves.
So is this Popple?
Yeah.
And we're going to go right there.
Because apparently there was evidence Popple had, or
And you all can approach too, so
No
you
wonder
don't
she
have
was
to.
turning red.
I
Wow.
don't want you asking questions yet, but I do. Can you move that?
So the jury's not here. She said to the jury to come back at 9:30
yeah,
because now they're going through this. Is that what it is?
yeah.
All right, please pull out the 3 Starline brass 45 Colt. Just put the color. You need to record them. You have yours.
I have yours.
So sorry everybody for the late start. It was kind of a weird morning, especially with us not understanding the trial arrangements. But we're glad you're here.
You were watching.
Just for a bit, like, so I saw about 5 minutes of it, but what it looked like is that there was evidence missing that was not supplied to the defense. And I think that it's from the prop. Either
Let's do the 2 BHA.
so there was like 3 pieces of information that was going around that the armorer said that her dad had supplied dummy rounds as well. And then they went over to this piece of information. So I kind of heard that and then went to go do something else and then came back and then I saw this, which is now that's the report that she has from the forensic investigator. And the evidence which was in a bag that was not turned over to defense.
And that's the difference between the live bullets and the dummy bullets.
I am unsure. I think that's, yeah. Yeah.
And looking at the bullets. But how does this
2 BHA 45 Colt with silver
hurt
and
the
color primer.
prosecution? Judge. Like,
Well, it's going to help the defense because they're like, why are you hiding information from us? And it could be, this seemed more like it was a procedural hiding. You hide a report and a sub-report and a sub-report and a sub-report kind of thing so that you can't find it. They buried it, basically. Hey, Christy, good morning.
1 CBC 45 Colt with brass and color primer.
that would be this one.
All right.
So what it looks like she's having to do is to take the brass out. It's so weird seeing the
3
judge do this.
BHA
I've never
45 Colt with
never
brass
seen
and
this
color
before.
primer.
Well, she said it's highly.
Yeah. Yeah.
These things.
And I have a feeling
One
that
Winchester
this
45 Colt.
information was found out, and that's why she
2
was
Winchester
like,
45 Colt.
everybody will show up an hour later because of this.
It's silver primer.
with brass primer, silver casing.
Okay, got that. Okay, 1 SIG 45 Colt. All right, and then 10 Starline brass 45 Colt. All right, so do we have the microphone close by? Or can you pick this up? Are you picking it up? That's my question.
We've got one here.
All right, so point out to me, let me ask you this. Did Ziegler tested the rounds in the Hannah Gutierrez case, correct?
Yes.
He didn't test any further rounds after the Hannah Gutierrez case?
No.
Okay. In the Hannah Gutierrez case, can you point out what types he did test from here?
I'm uncertain what types he tested.
Yeah, that was found from yesterday or the day before. That there were rounds all over the place. It wasn't just in Alec Baldwin.
Do you
it was
recognize any of these types of
in the holster of another
bullets
actor? That's what
to have been
we were making the
gathered
comment that
on the
this
Hannah
was just
Gutierrez
waiting to happen.
on the rust
Alec
set.
just was the fluke
The Starline
lightning
brass
strike
with
that
silver primer
this
are
occurred to.
similar
It could have
to
been
what
any
was
of the other
collected.
actors, and Alec might have been
everything
shot.
that was collected on set?
Because if the other actor was doing the
went
round and just
to
pulled it
Ziegler.
out and
Yes.
reloaded it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have any further questions, but I'll certainly allow some.
And the question I have is, why didn't the armorer find that round as well, or that actor find that round? Since it was obviously Alec was the issue here. I'm being sarcastic. Alec was the issue here and not being safe. Well, neither was that actor, as well, because he didn't find the dummy round in the bandolier, or the real round in the bandolier. So.
Good morning again. I'm just going to pass the witness up, because we're not fully set up, the copy of the spent shell casing that was recovered on the scene of Ruff. And you would agree with me, right, that it's the same as the bottom of the bullets that you just provided to the court?
Yes, it's Starline brass 45 Colt with a silver primer.
So when I
Yeah,
asked you
it is, and that's what
yesterday,
it's
didn't
so
you
weird
turn
about
in
this trial.
ammunition
They're going after Alec
that
when
matched
it doesn't seem to be
the ammunition that
his issue.
killed Ms. Hutchins. It's true that he did, correct?
And I did not recall at that time.
I understand that that's your position, but that's what in fact happened. Would you agree?
I would not use the word match without there being an additional analysis.
Well, who got to decide whether there would be additional analysis?
That was not myself.
It wasn't the defense, though, right? We didn't know about it.
I don't know what you were aware of.
Okay. Well, you know that we came to have an evidence viewing where we asked to see every single round that could be related to the Russ set, and this was hidden from us. You do know that.
This was not hidden.
This was not hidden?
This was under a case number. It was documented. I was instructed to document it under this case number.
Okay, so in this case that's under the Rust investigation case number, you would agree with me there's hundreds of things that you inventoried, right?
Yes.
There are hundreds of police reports that all relate to the same case number, right?
Yes.
The one thing that seems to have been put under a different case number is just this one discovery of the actual ammunition that matches the ammunition from the set of Rust.
This was put under a doc information of someone coming in claiming to have rounds that were not utilized in a case.
Okay, well, let's examine that for a second. When Seth Kenny comes into the precinct and he gives you ammunition, you vouchered it, right?
I was instructed to collect the ammunition from Seth Kenny.
Well, let me take a step back for a second just to make something clear. Investigator Popple, you're following orders, right, when you're doing these things, correct?
Can you please stop referring to me as investigator because it's creating a misnomer?
Okay, well, how would you, I apologize.
I'm a
not doing
crime
that.
scene technician. I'm not an investigator.
Okay, I'm only doing that because it's shorter than crime scene technician.
CST works.
Perfect, okay. CST Popple. When you took the, you're effectively following orders when you're deciding whether to voucher this or voucher the Seth Kenny evidence, right?
You keep using the word voucher, and I'm not sure what context you're using it.
Yeah, I apologize for that word choice also. When you inventory and make a report, I think your testimony is you're doing it at the direction of supervisors. Is that fair?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. So when Seth Kenny walks into the precinct and gives you ammunition and says it's from the Rust case, you all inventoried it, right?
Yes.
You took photos of it, right?
Yes.
You put it under the Rust case number, right?
Yes.
You turned it over to the defense, right?
According to my knowledge, yes.
Okay. Somebody else comes in to the precinct, okay? A man named Troy Teskey, right?
Yes.
Who was a former police officer, right?
I believe he stated that, yes.
Okay. And I assume you all have the diligence to be able to confirm that, right?
I do not know if it was confirmed or not.
Okay. And he comes in and he also tells you he has evidence, right?
He told us 3 years later, after a trial, that he had evidence that the defense wanted him to use that he no longer wanted to hold on to.
Okay, let's break that down for a second, right? Mr. Teskey isn't involved in your meetings with the prosecutors and Corporal Hancock's meetings with the prosecutors up until the trial, was it?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so doesn't it make sense that he would have seen the trial on television, been completely outraged at what he was watching, not trusted law enforcement, and then walked it into the precinct? Doesn't that make sense?
I do not know what would make sense to Mr. Teskey.
Okay, didn't he in fact tell you, I don't trust Miss Morrissey and the prosecutors?
He did not state that to me.
He didn't on your oath? You're sure about that?
I do not recall him stating that.
So he turns this
Oh my goodness.
round in, and you, when he turns it in, obviously recognize it as Starline brass, nickel primer, Colt 45, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not as if he came in and just turned in a bunch of shells, right?
He did turn in a whole bunch of shells.
Okay. But he didn't just turn in shells, right?
He turned in multiple different 45 rounds.
I'll ask the question a third time. He didn't just turn in shells, did he?
He turned in multiple 45 rounds.
Including rounds that matched the round that struck Miss Hutchins, right?
Again, I wouldn't use the word match without further analysis.
And
Wow.
the reason that we don't have further analysis is you all didn't send this to the FBI for further analysis, did you?
We did not.
Right? Because if you had, it would have potentially proven the fact that all along this ammunition did come from Seth Kenny. Isn't that true?
What I was informed of by Mr. Teskey was that the ammunition originated from Joe Swanson.
And then went in the green ammo can to Seth Kenny.
I do not recall him speaking about a green ammo can.
Okay. Well,
This
let me
is
ask
crazy.
you this. You know, the other
Okay.
thing that you're saying,
So-
I took you at first to be saying, well, it's just a bunch of ammunition. Now we've gotten to the point where
cop
it's actually the same
brought
type
in
of ammunition. And then you
a large
also
amount of shells and
stated
ammunition
in your testimony that's
and
like, well, there's
said,
just this guy, Troy
defense
Teskey,
told
that
me to
just
hold
walks
on to
into
this.
the office like it's random.
Defense or
When really
prosecution?
Mr. Teskey and his involvement in this case was
think he
very
said
well
defense.
known to law enforcement, correct?
Think.
I had never heard his name before.
And
Okay, but he came in and he said,
No,
I'm
yeah,
here
I
to
think
give
I thought he
evidence
said
about
defense,
the
but
Rust
maybe
case, right?
maybe I misheard.
He stated that
Yeah, she
he
is
had
sassy this morning.
evidence
She's
the
re-
defense
she's-
had wanted, and
she
he
is
no longer
really
wanted
sassy.
to hang on
She's-
to it.
Who's the
Well-
most
And he was the one
Yes,
using the word
yes.
evidence.
So she's corrected him 3 times.
really?
Like, do not call me that. Call me this instead. She's got
You
a
said
point.
to him
he,
when you
he
met
does
him
keep
down
calling her
at
an
the first
investigator,
floor
and she's not an
precinct.
investigator.
CSI.
CSI.
You were
yeah.
called because you were
CST
the
is what she
evidence,
says, or
the
whatever.
person in charge
But-
of the evidence, the CST, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And
So
he said,
he's a former
thank
cop,
goodness
and he
it's
brings
you.
in the
You're
shells, and he
perfect
says,
person
this
to
has
take
to
this
do with
because you know
the
all about the
Gutierrez
Rust
case.
And you said, I know all
And
about the Rust
I
case, right?
don't
I don't
trust
recall that.
Do you deny that?
No.
the
Okay.
prosecuting attorney.
And then he said,
right? And because he asked that, he asked,
he
"You're going to
said
tell me
to
under
you-
oath that he did not say that?" And she goes, "I don't recall,"
this
which means
ammunition was
that
in
is
Seth
what he
Kenny's
said, and
possession,
they have that
and
written
you
down.
said Seth Kenny's law enforcement
So
is
they
well aware
found
of
it,
Mr. Kenny, right?
found the ammunition
I
that
don't recall
matches
that.
exactly the description from the Rust shooting, and they decided not to send it to FBI for testing.
So you
And
take
that was the
this
stuff that was found in the
ammunition
green
on March
ammo
6th,
case.
right?
Yes.
Or
The standard operating procedure.
That's kind of
for
the question.
Santa Fe Police Department says you're supposed to.
And it was filed under
make your report
a
within
different,
24 hours, right?
Correct.
Okay. So tell the court. Did you
what do you
make
call
your
it,
report
crime
within
number,
24 hours?
Oh, yeah. Not
I'm
as part of the
fairly certain that our SOP is that
Bonanza
evidence
Creek Ranch.
should be
Right.
submitted within 24 hours. I'm not certain on when the reports are
and what
supposed to be submitted.
and it's that same
wanna take your
mentality
answer
that
back?
I have
Yes,
with
I
like
do. I
DAs
apologize, yes.
and lawyers and stuff like that. It's like, even if you know you're on the wrong side,
Well,
they
we
will
can enter
defend
that
it like
SOP into evidence.
we
In
did the
this
right
case,
thing no
many
matter
times,
what.
There
It's
are
like you
police
made
reports that are done the same day that the incident occurs.
you
Can agree
reported
with
it
that?
under a different
Yes.
crime
Okay.
number, so when you went to go ask for it,
how
it's not
much
there because
longer
well, you
after
should have
this
known that there was
revelation did
another
you
number that was
report?
associated with it.
I believe it was. I apologize. I can refer to my report to refresh my memory. Oh, I have a copy. I believe it was the following month that the report was made.
Yeah, it was approximately a month later, right?
Yes.
Okay. What happened during that month? CST Papa.
To be fairly honest, I went out of town to visit my dying mother.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to hear that. Were you out of town that entire month?
I don't believe it was the entire month, no.
Okay. Who was involved in the word choice in this report?
Myself?
You didn't have any input? Because this doesn't look like the same language you use in the other reports.
Well, on a normal basis, I don't have conversations with people involved in cases.
But there was also other officers there that were aware of this. Corporal Hancock was aware of this, correct?
She was notified about it, yes.
Okay, and so was your supervisor who was there with you, correct?
Yes.
So you're not telling me and this court that you had no input at all in the drafting of this document, are you?
It was reviewed by my supervisor. I don't believe any corrections were made to it or requested by him.
You know, it's just, there's a funny sentence in it. It says, it's a sentence I've never seen in a police report. You tell me if you've ever seen this in a police report in your entire career. It says, it should be noted that this is not actual evidence from the death investigation collected by SFSO detectives.
You are not reading my section of the report. You're reading what was written by Lieutenant Brian Brandel.
I was going to say, it doesn't look like you're writing. So the lieutenant writes in.
That's what he
thank
did
you for
say, yeah.
clarifying that. I just got this report, as you know, right? The lieutenant writes in, it should be noted that this is not actual evidence from the death investigation collected by SFSO detectives. Did I read that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. In your career, going back to when you were at CST in Florida, all the way through the present, have you ever seen such a sentence in a police report in your entire career?
Not that exact sentence, no.
Yeah, me neither.
Not that exact sentence now. Super sassy.
Super.
So you're,
What do you think he's listening to back there?
He's listening to the trial.
if you could just look at
Got
this
a
report for a
hearing
second
problem.
and help clarify for me which parts of this you
Sure.
filled out versus
Oh, he does,
the-
doesn't he? Does he have an implant?
The section
An ear-
that starts at the top.
That's a little
with
box
my
on above
name.
his ear.
Well, let's just go page by page.
That would be page 5.
After this occurred, did this cause you concern?
CST court sassy time.
This was handled this way?
It did not.
Central sassy time.
And as I asked you yesterday, you actually said when you were meeting with Mr. Teskey, this is the ammunition that we've been looking for from the Rust set, didn't you?
I don't recall stating that.
But you're not denying that.
I'm not denying that.
Yeah, I was wondering if he had the cochlear implant.
I don't know whether the most critical evidence in this case is the gun that was sent off to be destroyed or the round that killed Ms. Hutchins. It probably is the round that killed Ms. Hutchins. Would you agree with that those are probably the two most important pieces of evidence in this entire case?
Did the
I'm
jury
sorry.
come in, or is the jury
Can you
still
please
out?
restate your
Sure.
long question?
Sure. Would you agree with me that the
I think
two
I don't
most
think they're there
critical
yet.
items in this case from an evidentiary perspective were probably the firearm
I don't remember them
in
standing up.
question and
But
the
I
live ammunition
really
that struck
unsure.
Ms. Hutchins, right?
I would say the firearm and the live ammunition from the set.
Okay. And so the firearm, which we've had hearings, discussions about, was ultimately broken beyond repair by law enforcement, right?
Was broken by the FBI lab.
Okay. And the report that was issued by the experts for the prosecution about that firearm and whether or not it had been modified before was buried also by the prosecutors, correct?
I do not know about that report.
Okay, and then we can turn to this second most critical piece of evidence in this case. And this was also buried by law enforcement, correct?
No.
No, it wasn't. Okay. Were you in the precinct when the evidence viewing occurred with the defense? I think you said yesterday that your partner or your colleague dealt with the evidence viewing.
Yes, my colleague and Detective Hancock, I believe, were there.
But you didn't, nobody asked you to take this vouchered, sealed evidence out and show it to the defense, correct?
When the request was made, I believe they couldn't quite narrow down everything that they wanted to view. There was quite a bit.
Oh, so this was a narrowing down issue? The reason that this wasn't shown to the defense is a narrowing down issue?
No, I'm stating that they couldn't quite tell me in detail what they wanted to see.
But since it was under another case
request
ID,
from the defense of
then
all ammunition
it was lost. It wasn't shown.
Taken by law enforcement to not mean the ammunition that you recovered that matched the ammunition that struck Ms. Hutchins?
I don't believe they looked at all the ammunition that day.
Well, no, but the request was all ammunition. So I'm asking you, did law enforcement interpret that request to not include this critical evidence?
All of the items that were pulled for the case were under the Rust case number.
Which was a perfect plan.
Oh my God. Like, she doesn't
You're asking me if
understand
there
it.
was a plan?
Well, I'm saying, whether there was or there wasn't, it worked out pretty well, right?
I'm not sure what you're getting at. There was a request to view the evidence from Rust. That is the evidence that was pulled.
Well, your report says this is evidence from Rust, and then it just puts it under a different case number, and the lieutenant then writes that sentence in saying this isn't evidence from Rust, right?
My report states that Mr. Teskey believed that it was related to Rust, and then I listed the case number next to that.
Do you remember when we started my examination of you yesterday?
That was a semantic
How I sort of
flute.
said to you, the way you know what evidence to find is by what people tell you. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that when you're at a burglary and somebody says, oh, you better pick up that glove, you don't know that that person's telling the truth or not, but you pick up the glove, right?
Depending on the circumstances of the case, possibly.
And here, a retired member of law
God.
enforcement walks into the precinct, who's known to law enforcement, who turns in the matching ammunition, who tells you it's involved in the case, where there's tons of corroboration, both by what he provides and the history that law enforcement knows about this man, and you put it under a different case number, right?
Yep.
I'm sorry, what was your question in that long statement?
You put it under a different case number.
Yes, as I was instructed to do so.
Okay, so you need to finish up so that Ms. Morrissey can cross-examine.
Yeah, I'm trying to review this in real time.
Because since
So,
it wasn't
I will-
given to them ahead of time, they can't question it.
Witness.
It's like this is the whole reason that discovery is
In a
crucial.
moment. 1 second. Oh, and I asked you this yesterday, but I want to ask again, which is, you told Mr. Teskey
looks
that you would
familiar.
write up a report
Guy on the far
because of
left?
how important
Yeah.
this was the very same day, didn't you?
I don't recall stating the very same day.
You don't deny that, though, do you?
I don't deny it, but I don't recall it.
Okay, nothing further. For the record, that was State's Exhibit 29 that showed the witness.
All right, are we going to admit the supplemental into evidence?
Please.
Well, somebody move it in. I started the conversation. but
Defend, is it a court exhibit or just marked as defense? It's just,
I think it's, well, since I started it, are you okay with court's exhibit?
that's fine with me, and I think it gets confused.
However you want to handle it.
All right, court's exhibit what?
Yeah, and she is now. You noticed the demeanor of
And it is, any
the other
objection?
attorney. She's no, whatever you
No,
want. I'm good with that.
certainly not.
Whatever. Instead of argue, she's
Go
like,
ahead.
whatever you want.
Ju-
She's not
if
fighting
I
the
can
judge right
just
now, which
pause
means
for a moment
she
and
got
just,
reprimanded.
address the court. Here's what I'm intending to do. Obviously, this is a serious dispositive matter.
Mm-hmm.
A full record needs to be laid. I have Mr. Kinney on his way over. He'll be here any minute. We intend to take testimony from him.
Ooh.
I also intend to take testimony from Mr. Bowles. Judge, I have to make a record, though.
Well, just a minute.
Okay.
Well, so I don't know if it was
The
the
issue is
prosecution,
The
but
disclosure.
the
I understand.
defense definitely was
So-
not given all of the evidence.
That's why I want to call these people, is it goes to the heart of the disclosure. So all I'm asking the court for,
Well, we don't have time for this, so what I'm going to do, for example, like with Hancock, I'm going to have her get up on the stand and continue testifying about the case, and then this portion, just like you did with Popple yesterday, we will ask. You can call, move Seth Kenny up, you can move Seth Kenny up, but he's going to do all of his testimony if you're going to do that.
so what, but here's the only thing I'm trying to do, and I don't mean to be frustrating. The only thing I'm trying to do is make sure that if this court grants this motion to dismiss, that I have made a full record, and I am entitled to do that. So I am getting my witnesses
say,
over
Mr.
here
Al?
so that I can make a full record
She
on
said
this
it.
issue.
Well, what's interesting to me, to be quite honest, is that yesterday, you didn't even want to do a written reply. You wanted to just give an oral
I
response.
never saw these. I've never seen these, and I never saw the report. I have absolutely never seen these until this morning.
All right.
I've never seen the report until
So
this
ask
morning.
questions of this witness, and then you can line up your witnesses, and I'll see. But we're going to go with
This is a
Hancock
mess.
after this.
She's got to dismiss. Like, this is a mess.
Yep.
This is like
Ms.
the first time I've
Popple-
ever seen where it's like, this is dismissible.
And what?
I just
What else are we
presented to the
missing?
court that I've never seen these until this morning.
Doesn't
Do you agree
matter.
with that?
Yes,
You've never shown me these, or I've never come in to see them. Is that right?
correct.
Have you ever provided me that doc report?
No, I have not.
Okay. So,
That doesn't matter. Yeah.
do you know who
It's-
Troy Teskey is?
No, I do not.
I think we took some testimony from you yesterday that he is the friend of Thelreed.
I believe that was stated, but I did not know that information.
Okay, so let me ask it this way. If Troy Teskey, who provided this ammunition, is a friend of Hannah Gutierrez's dad, and if these bullets,
I'd ask the prosecutor not to be touching those with her bare hands.
they rolled around for 3 years, okay?
and then argued.
If these bullets
God forbid this woman.
She needs to
match
dismiss this.
the ones that were on the set of Rust, is that evidence, additional evidence, that Hannah Gutierrez provided the live ammunition to the set of Rust?
Yes,
And has she been convicted for that?
yes.
So they keep saying they don't
Is
know
this
what to do,
evidence
but-
that Seth Kinney provided live ammunition to the set of Rust?
No.
So let me ask you, Ms. Popple, if you buried it, how did the defense attorneys know to cross-examine you on it yesterday?
I do not know.
Do you have any idea when the defense attorneys learned about this ammunition?
No, I do not.
Do you know who they learned it from?
No.
Those are some important inquiries. Those are all the questions I have for Ms. Popple, but we'd like to take additional testimony.
All right. I thought I had one more question.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Would it refresh your memory about whether or not you're supposed to write a report within 24 hours if you
I don't think that was in dispute. I think he.
All right.
Get that off my.
Is this the one they keep
Okay.
calling the Good Samaritan?
So you're off the witness stand. We're gonna. Do we want to leave
Maybe.
these out, or do we want
Yeah.
to gather them up?
I think they need to be vouchered and kept, obviously.
Well, okay. So it'll be Courts Exhibit 12. Is that how you want to do it?
Yes, I think it should be a court exhibit, since this is a hearing, yes.
Okay, Courts 12. And my only question is, do you want them back in the? Do you plan to examine anybody with these?
They have to be at the courthouse so that we can, yes.
Well, she divided them all up, is my only point. So is she going to keep coming back and dividing them up, or what are we going to do?
I think yesterday there was some testimony that I think was frankly just misleading, that none of the.
No, this is my question.
Yes.
You all, okay. What do you want to do with that? Because if you're asking a witness, then we're going to have to pile them out of there, and somebody's going to have to line them up and identify what's this, what's this, what's this. Okay? So do you want them staying out like this, or do you want them in the bag? That's all. That's my question for the day.
I think they should remain vouchered, and they are open like any voucher would be at a trial, when and if a witness is questioned about them.
Okay, so here's my question. If I put them back in the bag, they're all going to be commingled, and you may not recognize them, so you can cross-examine appropriately or examine appropriately. Okay? You're
Just say
late
leave them
people.
out. Just say leave them out.
You have knowledge. I don't need to go into it. That's my only question. Want
Oh
it in
my
the bag,
God.
or do you want it out?
So what I would ask is, let us quickly just photograph it, and then we'll ask CST Popple to put them back, but remain at the courthouse. That's what I would ask.
All right. Is that okay?
Absolutely. My question for the court is, are we going to complete this motion hearing?
No, we're not going to complete it yet. Okay? I'm going to.
And can you just give us an idea so that we can be prepared for how you intend to proceed with regard to the motion hearing?
I'm going to have Hancock come up. You're going to call Seth Kenny, and I would like, I don't know why we can't do Seth Kenny's testimony if he's coming. Did you call him as a witness?
Sure, he's being called as a
Okay,
witness.
well, you should be prepared to call him. So we're going to do both, and I'm going to hear both.
So we're going to hear from these witnesses outside the presence of the jury and then in front of the jury?
Oh, you're right about that. Thank you.
That's my issue.
Thank you for pointing that out. Well, other than telling the jury to leave for the and come back at 3, which I'm not going to do to them, I'm going to continue the testimony, and he would. Well, you said actually.
It's complicated.
I'm now
There's no
thinking,
real good answer
why
here.
can't the jury hear this?
Yeah.
They heard Popple.
I'm sorry?
They heard Popple.
Oh, that's a good point.
Absolutely. No, I'm not making a comment on whether or not the defense gets to bring this in front of the jury. I'm making a commentary on the jury doesn't hear our motion hearing, and I just want to
they're not going to hear.
motion
Okay,
hearing.
I'm going to take evidence from each of these folks. Do you have? Is this a problem? So, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So this is why I want to do it this way. Okay, I want Hancock on the stand. You can question her about this issue. Okay, Seth Kenny comes. You're going to do all of his testimony, including this. Okay, Bowles is separate. He wasn't going to be testifying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nicole
And
thinks that
on Bowles' testimony,
she's had
the
Botox
jury
done.
will leave.
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
and
Right
anything
before the-
further on this
Yeah.
motion, the jury will leave. But I don't. But I think that
But
they
she
can do
looks good.
Hancock and
Oh, yeah.
Kenny
She can't
in
move
front of the
around.
jury.
Can Mr. Spiro and I approach?
Sure.
Because if you know you're going to be on camera, it's like,
Yeah.
totally you're going to go get Botox done.
Yeah.
Completely. She might have gotten a little too much done.
She got the whole puffer fish put in.
Yeah. And so did
I know it's not the same stuff.
Hancock got lip injection.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You can see it pretty clearly. To prepare to be on.
And that's why she had so many plosives when she was talking.
Can't move her lips.
She's not used to them.
Yeah.
So
Used to her lips.
yeah.
She got for the trial.
Come on, guys. I know it's Hollywood showing up here, but we can do without this for a second, you know.
If I had the money, I would totally do the same thing.
Yeah, but right before a trial. I'm just asking.
Yeah, I would.
Okay.
I would.
Okay.
If I was the judge, I would have done that too.
Can you re-ask the question? It was way too long for me to understand.
What are you asking here? But she was obfuscating also. Like she was
Huge.
clear.
Huge. And if anything made the department look bad or the way they collected evidence, she would just say, I don't remember that.
I don't recall.
Yeah. So if he asked the question, like, do you remember him coming in and saying that he doesn't trust the prosecuting attorney? Do you remember that? No, I don't remember that. Would you say under oath that you didn't hear him say that? No, I wouldn't say that. So it's like, oh my God. It is crazy. This is a crazy trial.
Well, it's confusing.
Mhm.
That's part of the problem, and everyone's confusing each other.
And here's the interesting thing is that I was watching an FBI investigator talking. This is the kind of cases he would do.
Mm-hmm.
He also is a weapons expert for Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
as well. So he knows Hollywood in and out, and he knows crime scene investigation in and out. And he said, this is a simple investigation. He's like, you don't get easier than this as far as investigations go. He was like, the number of guns, the ammo, all that stuff is irrelevant. As far as the investigation goes, it's real simple. It's one location, one spot, one gun, one bullet,
But they missed it.
and one death. And he's like, this is an easy one. Yeah. Not being able to answer a long question is why she's a technician. Christy, I feel that's insulting. I'm in IT, so actually you have a point.
Another long question.
Yeah. What? Can you say that in just 2 words, please?
No.
You smart? When you say you,
Okay, I'm gonna go make some lunch.
ooh, it is that time, isn't it?
We have kids here.
Wow, that's right. Do we need to feed them?
We do.
Well, one of them we do. The other one just runs off sugar and Roblox games. So
I will be back.
Okay.
So, if anything happens,
I'll be back with booty. Do you know what you're making for lunch?
I was just gonna make some fried rice. Use up the rice.
Cool. Sounds good.
That'll be good for us and for the boy, and then the girl can.
Eat more celery. Celery. Cereal. She doesn't know what celery is. She's never seen it before. Yeah. That's a long discussion again. I need to put it on a quick way to like play music while we're waiting. Can we do this? Ooh. I don't know if this is actually a thing or not. Oh. Okay, I see what that is now.
Tell Steve to bring the tray.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think she's exhausted, huh?
After I call in the jury, this is on the record. I gotta continue. After I call in the jury, I'm taking a bathroom break, and we're probably taking a break for a good 20 minutes or half an hour even. Okay? Just want to settle.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he's calling him in. Seated, we're on the record. Jury, thank you for coming in. I'm going to recess you for the day. I'm sorry. Trials are fluid. It's not something we predicted, okay? So if you all can return at 8:30 tomorrow morning.
Monday.
Monday. It's been a longer week than usual. So, Monday, okay? So have a great weekend. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence here, received here in court. Don't read any accounts. Don't do any research. Don't go on Google, et cetera, okay? Thank you so much for your patience. Appreciate it.
I'll rise for the jury.
It's crazy they're recessing the trial jury for the day. So I guess everything today is just going to be about the.
Ms. Popple, gather this while we're on break?
We're just going to photograph it as she
All right, and then can she gather it on break?
Sure. Is she where?
Well, she needs to stay in the courthouse or be close by. Okay, thank you. We are in recess.
All right, everybody. Well, we're on break, and we'll see how the day goes. But so far, it's been exciting. So, hope everybody has a good lunch.
not. Where is everybody?
I mean, it looks like we're back.
All right. Call another witness. We're in the motion hearing.
Detective Hancock.
Your Honor, just I can do it after Detective Hancock.
What?
We may approach very quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious because this is a motion trial. Oops. Sorry about that, everybody. How'd it go?
Actually, pretty good. I get it. I feel like I'm getting better. I'm too serious, though. I mean, these are serious.
I know.
Freaking serious topics.
today a bunch of people died and it was great. Yeah, you can't do that stuff. We are live, just to let you know. So they went live and then immediately went to a sidebar.
Why? Do you think this judge is just gonna be like, I'm done with y'all?
Yeah. Yeah. I bet in her mind she's like, well, I've got another week of this. Yeah. What do you think, Winky? Yeah, I agree. It is there because they're. Oh no, no, it's an old one. Yeah, she said, "Let the games begin." I have to I have to refresh it all the time. And I found out I can increase the font size in this, so it's much easier to read. Just like an angel. Can look you in the eye. I'm gonna lose more subscribers. Weird music. I don't know. I was a little excited that this was going somewhere too, but. What was that?
She just is done.
Yeah.
What's happening? She's just sitting there.
Wondering
Did we miss something?
how did we get to this point in her life?
What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? Did they say anything? Because they sent the jury home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the jury's not there.
Yep.
Are they calling back Kenny? Are they calling back Popple? Are they calling back Hancock? See, I know the names. I got this down.
I don't know who any of those people are, so I don't know.
Right, well,
Are you doing the Providence cult in South Korea?
yeah, it's on our list. We have a big, long Trello list of things, and it's on our list. I think that might be a good duel to do the Providence cult with Soldiers of Christ,
Mm-hmm.
and more about. There's so many South Korean cults now.
Yeah, and I still think it's the same thing. It's just we're now hearing about them.
Yeah, so currently I'm doing TikTok videos because there's 4 cases that are in the courts. So there's the
Kind of the high priority ones that are in the courts. Yeah, there might be more, but
there's the ones that I know about. There's 4 that I know about. There might be more.
right.
So the Muirs, they were denied bail, so they're still in jail
Mm-hmm.
For their son that
Bryson. Mm-hmm.
Bryson that he hit. And then there's the Hasidic cult that I just learned about this morning,
Mm-hmm.
where they kidnapped.
They're kidnapping child brides.
Yeah, they kidnapped the 12-year-old girl.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, she was like 13 to be married to a man in Honduras.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got convicted yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
this morning. And then there's the really horrific one, which is Paul Mackenzie, his cult, the Shambhala, in the Shambhala forest in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And he got over 400 people to starve themselves to meet Jesus. And they found all their bodies. And over 100 of those 400 were children. And the one that testified yesterday, he was 8. He survived because his grandfather came and rescued him, but he watched both of his siblings die, and he testified. Can you imagine being 8 years old and being able to testify to that?
Even having to. Yeah.
He talked about how he tried to save one of his siblings and couldn't in his testimony yesterday. And then the 4th one is in Australia. There's a group called the Saints, this cult. They stopped giving an 8-year-old girl her insulin. They said Jesus was going to fix her. Jesus was going to heal her. They prayed over her and they watched her die. And then when she died, they tried to resurrect her and they were happy that she had died.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in court currently in Australia. So that's 4 cases that are in the courts due to cults and violence against children. Like, all over the world.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah. You just think about the places that you'll never hear about. Like, there might be a lot of stuff going on in Russia and
South Korea,
Mm-hmm.
and, because I don't get those English notifications.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ton of stuff in South Korea.
In North Korea.
Well, I don't think
Yeah, I mean, the government is a cult.
Yeah, no.
So.
Yeah, they came up like now people have to wear pens with his picture on it.
Wow. Okay, hold on. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Some Young Un, what's his name? Is that his name?
Some young guy.
Some Young.
Kim Jong Il.
Kim Jong Un.
Un.
Yeah. So, like Christy, it just goes on and on and on, and you should see our boards. We've got these boards, and it's just a list of people that have done.
Yeah, it's
they've done so much harm.
It's actually too much to keep track of,
No.
or to like. So when it's funny because we get comments, you know, like, well, you guys didn't do research. It's just like you could devote your entire life to doing research on one of these groups, and there's hundreds of them. So it's
and even just going down, we talked about it last couple of days. The Carlos Castaneda cult, like that's some wild stuff here in the States, and the whole mystery around his witches, what happened to his witches. Just, Christy, just a heads up. An author, a reporter, recently seems to think that he found one of Castaneda's witches, which is how it kind of came up.
the Zoom call that led to nothing.
Yeah, the Zoom call. I was on the Zoom call yesterday. Was it yesterday or Wednesday? Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like I'm losing track of time.
No, the Providence cult, that's not the one where that guy was raping the people.
No, that one I don't know about. I was going to look it up.
Kind of a sex cult. Is that what it is, Christy?
She hasn't responded yet. I think she's just listening. Listen to us ramble on and on and on.
Yeah, and that's the problem when it comes to cults. And now that I get...
Yeah, actually she's saying she can't hear you, maybe? Go ahead and talk, Nicole.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, your volume is really low. Why is your volume really low? I can fix it.
Carl's messing with stuff.
I don't mess with nothing.
He's always messing with something. And I just went on for 10 minutes about cults. You can't hear anything. Hello? He had my microphone totally off. Hello? Hello? Well, there's nothing happening on the Baldwin trial.
Yeah, I'm going to blame this on the cat.
The cat did it.
Well, no, it's my volume's up, not your volume's down. So I had to turn it down because my volume was too high.
Mm.
And it might be too high now.
Is it too high? It's too low? Who's too low?
Well, I can fix it. I can fix it. You got numb tone?
He's always saying that.
All right, go ahead and talk again.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear me, Kirsty?
Okay, try now.
Can you hear me? Oh, I see the yellow. Talking about cults and too loud.
There you go.
All the cult news that's happening around the world. So, Christy, can you tell me a little bit about the Providence one? Is that the one where the guy was sexually assaulting his members? And they did a documentary about it, right? Like Netflix did? Am I remembering that correctly? And can you hear me?
She said she heard parts of it.
Parts of it.
Yeah. Okay, so the volume's the same, but mine is like redlining.
Yours is like busting people's eardrums out.
No, it's overloading the system. There you go. Okay, she says it's much better for you now.
Okay. How about for Carl? Is it too loud?
Talk again.
Hello?
Hey,
Hello?
you're still really low. I've got you turned. You're equal to me in there.
Yeah, but I'm a low talker.
I am too.
Yes, tell me more about this. Low talker.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's still like I'm hitting -1. You're hitting like -14. It should be 12.
I don't know.
he would send out scouts to recruit victims.
Oh,
She said.
Victims that were sexually assaulted.
Wow, that's pretty crappy.
Yeah.
When I think of scouts, I just think of Boy Scouts or something like that. Oh, we got them in an embrace.
Aw.
I'm going to give you 3 more kids tonight. I promise triplets.
More babies for you.
You know, you have this app. I got it working on your computer too.
What app?
This one.
Oh.
You just load it so you could see what's being discussed. All right. So I'm fixing my issue by getting further away from my microphone.
And then how does my volume sound?
Yeah, your volume should be good now.
This is why we keep losing subscribers.
Yes, it's that. That's the reason. You said it was my singing.
Oh, yeah. Now I don't know.
Yeah. It's all the same equipment going through the same system at the same volume level. So I don't know what's going on. But it does look like the settings have been messed with. So maybe someone went through and was playing with it.
That would be weird.
It would be very weird, but...
That's not normal behavior.
No, it's not.
Anyway, what I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, but we have a Trello board with all of our things that we want to cover. And we put the Providence cult on there, but that list is like forever long. There's so much stuff, and there's so much stuff in the courts right now that's happening. Can you hear me?
I'm going to just turn you up because it's still showing on this if you're like at a fourth volume. It's so weird.
And there's like the courts all over the world. So currently there's 2 cases in the States, one in Indiana, one in New York, one in Australia, and one in Kenya, where cult leaders are being prosecuted, mainly for harming children in all 4 cases.
You should be easier to hear now. Okay, good. So she can hear you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was just very odd.
All right, so Miss Popple is the technician.
Yes.
Ms. Hancock was the lead investigator.
Yes.
And Kenny, Mr. Kenny, was the
owner of the prop.
PDQ, owner of PDQ.
Yes.
So are they bringing him back?
Well, they said that they do want to talk to them, but there was also the thing about they had testimony as well in front of the what do you call it? Jury as well. So I'm unsure at this point what is going to happen here. Look at our volume. Hey, yeah, give me a quick sound check.
Sound check. Sound check.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay.
You know what's going to happen now? They're going to come on and it's going to be like too quiet or too loud. It's going to like blast us out.
Yeah, the one in Kenya is mind-boggling. The Hasidic one sounds very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one's crazy because they were using disguises. They were disguising the girl, and they kidnapped her once, and then they tried to kidnap her a second time. And the second time was when they got caught kidnapping her because they believed that she was the property of this man in Honduras.
Yeah. All right.
or Guatemala.
She says sound is excellent now.
Good, good,
Thank
good,
you, thank
good.
you, Christy, for that.
We appreciate that feedback.
It's also interesting too, the compression change. So if you look, this is the view we're getting from YouTube, and then how washed out it is from one to the other.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's got to be a YouTube process that removes subscribers. Like, I just don't, I've never unsubscribed. I mean, maybe like once a year I'll go through and unsubscribe.
I've never unsubscribed. Let me rephrase that. Unsubscribed some of the kids' stuff that, because they go through like our accounts and subscribe to like 1,000. So the only things I get anymore are just random Roblox on TVs I want to watch.
Yeah.
So I can't even see the stuff I want to see. But that's it. But for myself, like my account, there's nothing. I only subscribe what I want to watch, and I've never unsubscribed.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Yeah. My personal opinion is that YouTube is making a huge algorithm change right now, especially since they're doing new features. So I think they're screwing it up and removing things. I wanted to test a theory that if everybody that is subscribed to us to unsubscribe and subscribe back, I bet you would have more than our number that we have.
It is a weird thing about TikTok. Like, I'm seeing that there's comments, but I don't know how to get to the comments.
Yeah, I'm logged in on that account too, so I can take a look. I saw that. Ah!
Oh my
Jeez.
God.
God, it was my own voice too. How annoying. How anybody could listen to that. Oh, we're live? Yeah, here you go. That's all. It's under the inbox. There's a whole.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
It's right there. If you see that red on your phone, see the red thing? I think that's the inbox. Not there. No. There's a red. Yeah. Where on YouTube? So you respond and give the YouTube address.
Yeah. Let's figure out what it is.
The TikToks. Wow. Jeez, who's ever doing the video editing? And we're back to the seal.
I miss the ceiling fan. I do.
I seriously need to put in a, like just a ceiling fan shot somewhere in the house
Yeah.
that we can go to.
What are they? Are they in chambers arguing? Wonder what they're doing.
Or they just showed the judge.
Did she like try and talk to them?
Oh no, there was a group of them. Like they were all together in a huddle. Like and what's her name? I want to call her Hungaria. What's his wife's name?
Hungaria. Hilaria.
Oh yeah, Hilaria. The two of them were just kind of talking to each other, like hugging each other and talking. So, and then everybody else was standing, chatting. So I don't know what is going on. Maybe they just dismissed.
They didn't tell anyone.
They're going to come back and be like, well, JK, trial's over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know what is going on with the trial.
Do you think she's going to dismiss? That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm. That would be interesting. You know what you should do is get covers for the backs of the surfaces that have our logo on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because you can see it. And the... not advertised for Microsoft.
Yeah, right.
Yes. Same judge and prosecutor that were on the Gutierrez-Reed.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I think she definitely was culpable. I don't think that was wrong.
Yeah.
I don't feel that Alec Baldwin is.
Yeah.
I think this is a little too much.
Yeah. And she might not have known that they have brought in the ammunition, but the fact that they were firing those guns, or even brought it up, because that was the thing too. Is one of the things I saw and I haven't looked at yet was the idea that they were firing a live ammunition from the guns. Someone said it was disproven, but nobody agreed or disagreed to the comment. So I don't know if that information is true or not. Because that is the one thing that I hear a lot, is that they were firing live ammunition from the guns.
Yeah.
But the one thing I did see is that the comment was that someone, like the armorer, was asking about this, and it was the guy at the prop store that said it always ends in tears. Because she was asking, can you fire live ammunition from these guns? And he said, yes, but it always ends in tears.
Huh.
In other words, you don't want to do it. You don't want to even have the possibility of confusing these two together.
Yeah. And is that Kenny that said that?
I believe so. And I still think Kenny's a red herring as well. Like he has not much to do with it. And I don't think that the defense is trying to say he is culpable. I think what they're trying to show is that you don't know if he is because you didn't even investigate him thoroughly or do a thorough search. Like, because the same idea is, where did the bullets come from?
Mm-hmm. And
that's really the answer to who is the most culpable.
Right.
Is who brought in live ammunition.
But I don't think they've ever gotten to the bottom of it.
No.
Based on the testimony I've seen so far.
Right. Because if you want to go with, flights of fancy, you could say that someone was trying to set up a member of the cast. Someone didn't want this to go through. Ooh, it was the camera operators that left. They snuck in and put ammunition in to try to, get the production shut down. I'm not, but that's what you do as an attorney. You sow any, doubt that you could into it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just as likely as anything else because nobody knows where it came from. So, I wonder if they are going to bring up the bad blood between the people that stormed off the set. Like, nobody's going to listen to me that the set's dangerous, but if a gun goes off with a live bullet in it, they'll definitely hear about it then. Yeah, and see, you don't even have to believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true at all, but if you don't know what exactly happened, how could you say that a million other things didn't happen?
Yeah.
And the gun's laying over there. The guy looks like he's part of the cast and crew, walks over, puts the gun in, finds a bullet that looks just like the dummy rounds. Shut down the production out of spite.
I just don't understand how they haven't been able to get to the bottom of who brought in the rounds.
And it goes back to them not doing a great job on the set. The armorer.
Did she testify?
Oh, I don't know. Not on this trial. But
she hasn't done it. But in her trial, did she testify?
Yeah, I don't know, Christy. Did you watch the any information on the other trial? I mean, they might not even had it live because it wasn't. Alec.
Yeah, let me Google it. What was her first name? Hannah.
Yeah.
I'm just pulling up the current stuff.
Yeah. I agree with that. Just mainly for information about what occurred. Are you going to go take care of the ferns?
Mm-hmm. What is happening? I wish we'd just have more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that too. Because the Karen Reed trial, although was crazy that it even existed and crazy everything that was found, it was not run poorly.
Do you think this is ran poorly? This courthouse?
Christy thinks it is. I don't think the court, the judge, and the court. I think it's everybody. And I don't think the defense, but the prosecution, she's a bit scattered, like trying to find information and a million sidebars that we've had.
I don't see if she testified in her own trial or not.
I mean, If I was them, I would tell her not to. You never want your person to testify.
Well, I think Alec Baldwin needs to testify in this trial.
Yeah.
I do. I think he needs to tell what he was feeling, what he was going through, what happened to him.
Yeah, but they're gonna screw him on cross.
Maybe.
Oh, that's right. I gotta get my shampoo. I'm gonna put it on the card, that gift card thing.
Okay.
Oh, it's much cheaper than it used to be. It used to be $24, now it's $16.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Actually, they've got one that is 4 times bigger for only twice the price. So they got me, didn't they?
They got you.
Yeah, and if you look at her law office, it looks like it's the size of a small trailer. Like it doesn't look, it's not a nice looking building, like what you would expect a law firm to have.
Mm.
So
I think a lot of these lawyers, they're used to pleading. They're not used to actually having to go to court and plead their case. But they already did it once through Gutierrez. So they should be more prepared.
you would think, right?
Yeah. But Gutierrez probably didn't have as good a lawyers as Alec Baldwin does.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Well, I think I'm going to go do some chores. I'm just sitting here
Sitting here's fun.
waiting. I need some more water.
It's like,
Put on some music. And then tell me if they...
little background music, still talk over it, but hopefully this music's not too loud.
We should do a full podcast on Paul McKenzie and that Shambhala Forest group.
Yeah.
Because that's horrific. Once all the testimony is done and if he's convicted or not.
Yeah.
It's one of those cults that not a lot of people are talking about.
Which makes sense where it is, you know.
Like the one where the 800 people were burned inside the church. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Good. I didn't want to be too loud, but it gives a little background noise. There we go. All right. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a break too, so we will be back. Hopefully when something interesting happens.
All right, there you go, 1 o'clock, bye.
All rise.
you.